all busy. We're backed up with appointments back to back. You need to go to another branch, but we can't help you here. I was dumbfounded. Like, how can you not help me?
That's where the scam was. She took my money. It was gone.
And it happened on Friday. They did it Friday afternoon so that the next transactions would happen on a Saturday and you couldn't talk to anybody, and that's payday. So when you don't make payday in a really hot construction market, if you have skilled workers, they'll find other places within days.
You can't afford to lose any money. We know that. So make sure you don't fall for scams, starting with one on Facebook Marketplace. That scam is up nearly 185%. Sellers report losing products to scammers who send fake checks or other bogus payments, and buyers report sending real money and getting nothing back. A tip to avoid losing money: stay on the platform to pay so you're protected if things go south. The next one is the Zelle scam. It's up 86% on the digital payment platform. Victims are baited with fake rental listings or pets for sale. After they send money through the app, they get nothing. Avoid this scam by sending money only to people you know and trust.
What did this Chicago-based contractor and this suburban landscaping company owner have in common?
$4,600.
Drained $7,500 in 3 transactions.
Both lost thousands of dollars in sophisticated scams involving Zelle, the online payment platform.
I was ripped off. It was stolen from me.
The scams followed a similar pattern. Both Debbie and Paul were contacted out of the blue by people who they believed to be their bank, JP Morgan Chase.
I get a text and asking me if I tried to do a Walmart transaction for $1,092, and I responded no.
Then Debbie's phone rang.
And the lady on the other line knew that I got that text. She's like, hang on, I can help you.
Still on the phone with who she believed was a Chase representative, Debbie received a second text asking if she authorized a $4,600 payment via Zelle, which she had not.
And she went on to say, I'm gonna send you another text number with the PIN number, and you're gonna put it into your phone, and we're gonna stop that.
Debbie logged into her Chase account and took the steps the woman recommended, believing she was reversing that fraudulent Zelle payment, when in fact...
That's where the scam was. She took my money. It was gone.
And what she and Paul learned the hard way was that when losing cash in scams like these, your bank may not cover your losses.
Zelle is a different product.
Peter Tapling is a payments expert and former executive with Zelle's parent company, which is owned by a group of banks, including Chase.
Zelle is not a credit transaction. It's not protected by the schemes that were built to protect credit transactions. It's money out of the bank and it's irrevocable.
Debbie and Paul reported the scam to Chase and law enforcement, but in both cases, the bank declined to make them whole.
They didn't have your back.
No, they didn't, and I had to find out the hard way, unfortunately.
In Paul Robertson's case,
Hacer los cortes para las bisagras.
the stolen money meant he couldn't meet his payroll and had to borrow money from a client.
It happened on Friday. They did it Friday afternoon so that the next transactions would happen on a Saturday and you couldn't talk to anybody, and that's payday. So when you don't make payday in a really hot construction market, if you have skilled workers, they'll find other places within days.
As the number of Zelle scams multiply, there's growing debate over who is ultimately responsible, the banks or the victims.
Right now, it's still on the banks to make a decision as to whether or not this transaction was authorized per the terms of your agreement with your financial institution.
A federal law covering electronic transfers requires that banks cover losses if the transactions are determined to be unauthorized. But in the cases of Paul and Debbie, Chase said they, in fact, authorized the payments, even though they were tricked into making those transfers.
And it's devastating. I mean, that's hard-worked money that we earned, and now we're out. And Chase does not want to help.
You like this. He can't take care of you like this.
Zell is apparently aware there's an issue and has produced videos like this one, starring the host of the MTV show Catfish, to help educate consumers.
You'll get a text from a scammer, immediately followed by a call from a local number pretending to be your bank.
But that's of little help to Paul, who believes Zell and Chase should do more to help him and other customers who fall victims to scams.
At the end of the day, I was able to bounce back from this. But for the people that don't, this becomes a really tragic event in their life.
And Boris still feels the sting of the scam.
I had tears running down my face. I was literally shaking.
It happened as Anne's students were finishing final exams. Her cell phone rang. The caller ID said Wells Fargo Bank.
I'm calling from Wells Fargo. We're investigating, some fraud that is going on right now. Are you trying to wire $20,000 from your savings account? I said, I am not.
A man on the phone told her she'd better wire the $20,000 over to the bank's fraud department where it would be safe.
So I said, okay, let's walk me through this. And then when that was done, he said, there's another wire fraud transfer coming in right now in the form of $5,000 from your savings.
So Anne followed instructions and wired $5,000 more.
At this point, I see the money leave my account. And he said, no, it's okay. It's in our fraud department.
Then the man said someone was trying to get another $3,500 through her Zelle account and believed him.
I just panicked that someone somewhere in the world had access to all of my money.
And drove to the nearest Wells Fargo branch with the man still on the phone and told a teller someone was attacking her accounts. Silently, the teller warned her the thief was actually the man on the phone.
And mouthed to me, it's not Wells Fargo. And I started to panic.
And pleaded with bank employees to stop those wire transfers fast, but to her shock, no one would help.
I'm sorry, we're all busy. We're backed up with appointments back to back. You need to go to another branch, but we can't help you here. I was dumbfounded. How can you not help me?
You have a woman who's in the process of being defrauded with tears coming down her eyes, and you send her away?
And raced across town to another branch.
It took me a ton of time to get through the traffic and the road work that they're doing on Crow Canyon Road.
A banker at the other branch saw her in tears, responded quickly, and managed to stop the $5,000 wire transfer. But the $20,000, too late. It was gone. Wells Fargo denied Anne's claim for reimbursement and called her to say she authorized the transaction.
He was just like, no, sorry, Wells Fargo would never call you. And I said, you just called me from Wells Fargo.
We asked Wells Fargo why bankers said they were too busy instead of trying to stop the fraud. The bank did not respond exactly, but said, we strive to do all that we can to support scam victims. We take these situations seriously and provide options, including our fraud team contact information.
You send her away.